Welcome to Adu Globe. Discover new ideas, learn exciting things, and be amazed every day. Hello everyone, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to dive into two surprising and highly significant events that may have shifted the dynamics of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. During August 2025, Ukraine carried out two major strikes that, according to international media reports, directly disrupted Russia's supply lines. These attacks didn't just target military logistics, they also had a serious impact on energy flows. But the real question is, how much can these strikes actually change the balance of this conflict? Are they only temporary setbacks for Russia, or could they create long-term challenges? And on the other hand, can Ukraine truly strengthen its position with this strategy, or will Russia quickly find an alternative route? In this video, we'll break down both events, their immediate consequences, and the bigger picture, using only verified news sources and keeping a neutral perspective. So stay tuned until the end, and let us know in the comments, who do you think was more affected by these strikes? In any war, supply lines are the lifeline that keep an army moving. Weapons, ammunition, fuel, and essential equipment must constantly flow to the front lines. As long as supplies arrive on time, the military can maintain its strength. But the moment those supplies are disrupted, challenges appear not only on the battlefield but also in political and economic arenas. That is why, according to many analysts, Ukraine's recent strategy has drawn global attention. In August 2025, reports confirmed two major incidents that highlighted this very tactic. The first took place on August 15, when Ukraine targeted a Russian ship at Port Olya 4. According to outlets such as The Guardian and Business Insider, the vessel was carrying drone parts and ammunition reportedly supplied from Iran to Russia. The strike caused significant damage and temporarily halted an important supply route. Shortly afterward, another attack followed, this time on an oil pipeline that delivers Russian crude to Hungary. As reported by Reuters, a transformer station connected to the pipeline was damaged, which led to a temporary suspension of oil flows to Hungary. Hungary's foreign minister publicly confirmed the disruption and said that efforts were underway to restore the supply. These two strikes were more than just tactical hits on infrastructure, they raised larger questions. If supply lines are repeatedly disrupted, will Russia face long-term challenges in sustaining its operations? Or will it quickly adapt and find alternative routes? On the other hand, can Ukraine strengthen its overall position by targeting logistics, or are these actions only short-term victories? The answers remain uncertain, but one fact is clear: these events have forced policymakers and analysts worldwide to reconsider the dynamics of this conflict. When a war is fought not only on the front lines but also within the arteries of supply chains, its consequences ripple far beyond the battlefield. On August 15, 2025, a significant event captured global headlines. According to international reports, Ukraine carried out a strike on a Russian vessel docked at Port Olya 4, located near the Caspian Sea. This ship, as noted by The Guardian and Business Insider, was reportedly transporting military equipment and drone parts that had arrived from Iran. The attack left the vessel heavily damaged and raised urgent questions about the security of Russia's supply chain. Why did this incident matter so much? In modern conflicts, supply lines are not just a logistical detail, they are a decisive factor. If weapons, fuel, or advanced technology fail to reach the front lines, it can slow down military operations dramatically. The strike at Olya 4 was more than just a single hit on a ship, it represented a direct challenge to the stability of supply routes feeding into Russia's war effort. The attack also carried symbolic weight. A ship anchored at a port is not simply a piece of hardware, it represents the movement of resources across borders, involving multiple nations and complex supply agreements. The fact that this vessel was reportedly carrying parts from Iran added another layer of intrigue, drawing attention from analysts worldwide. It highlighted how the conflict is no longer confined to Ukraine and Russia alone, but touches global supply networks and international partnerships. Media coverage of this event reflected that wider concern. Outlets like The Guardian emphasized the potential impact on Russia's logistics, while Business Insider discussed how the disruption could influence broader military strategies. Meanwhile, questions began circulating. Would Russia be able to quickly replace the lost equipment? Could Ukraine continue striking targets beyond its immediate borders? And how might international players react to the involvement of third-party supplies? For audiences following the conflict, the Olya 4 strike was more than just another headline. It was a vivid reminder that wars are increasingly fought not only on the front lines, but also across the arteries of global trade and supply. Each disrupted shipment carries consequences that extend far beyond a single port or a single ship. This incident left the world watching closely, wondering what it could mean for the next phase of the conflict. Just 3 days after the Port Olya 4 strike, another critical event shook the region. On August 18, 2025, Ukraine reportedly targeted one of Russia's vital oil supply routes, a line that carried fuel from Russia toward Europe. According to Reuters and other international outlets, the attack disrupted the flow of energy, preventing Russian oil from reaching Hungary. Why was this so significant? Oil and gas are not just commodities, they are the backbone of entire economies. When energy routes are interrupted, the impact goes far beyond the battlefield. Homes, industries, and even governments can feel the shockwaves. In this case, Russia's ability to deliver energy exports was compromised, while Europe, already sensitive to energy shortages, faced renewed concerns about stability and prices. Analysts were quick to note that this strike wasn't just about one pipeline. It raised questions about the vulnerability of energy corridors that stretch across continents. Could more supply lines be at risk? Was this the start of a broader strategy to weaken Russia's energy leverage? For many observers, the attack symbolized how modern warfare extends beyond tanks and soldiers. It cuts into the infrastructure that fuels nations. International reaction was cautious but closely attentive. Media coverage highlighted the potential ripple effects: an energy shortfall for Europe, mounting pressure on Russia's exports, and a reminder of how interconnected global supply systems truly are. If one supply route is disabled, the entire chain of distribution can falter. For viewers following this conflict, the oil supply strike on August 18 wasn't just another incident. It underscored the stakes of modern warfare. Supply lines are not only about weapons and ammunition, but also about energy, the lifeblood of modern society. The disruption of Russian oil exports to Hungary served as a powerful illustration of how a single event can create uncertainty across multiple nations, leaving the world watching and waiting for what might come next. The recent strikes, one on a Russian vessel near Port Olya and another on a major oil supply line bound for Europe, are being described by many analysts as significant tactical successes for Ukraine. The reason is clear. By disrupting both military logistics and energy flows, Ukraine directly challenged the arteries that sustain Russia's operations on multiple fronts. Military experts often say that wars are not only fought on the battlefield but also in the supply lines that feed the fight. Without steady access to ammunition, fuel, or even replacement parts, an army's mobility and endurance can weaken over time. Similarly, in today's interconnected world, energy exports are more than just an economic lifeline, they are a strategic tool that shapes global influence. That is why these strikes carry weight far beyond their immediate targets. However, the picture is not one-sided. Disrupting such lifelines can create ripple effects that extend well outside the conflict zone. For Russia, it means looking for alternative supply routes and reinforcing vulnerable corridors. For Ukraine, it signals a willingness to use strategic precision to offset disadvantages in conventional power. But for the international community, these incidents raise difficult questions. Will this approach prolong the war? Could energy insecurity in Europe escalate into broader instability? International observers have highlighted that while tactical gains may slow Russia's operations, they also risk stretching the conflict further into the future. A prolonged war can deepen humanitarian crises, increase economic costs, and place additional strain on regional security. The world has already seen how disruptions in energy supply can ripple into higher costs for households, industries, and governments across continents. Ultimately, these events illustrate the delicate balance of modern warfare, where each strike carries both immediate military benefits and long-term consequences. As reports continue to surface from verified outlets such as Reuters, The Guardian, and Business Insider, the global audience is left to wonder: is this the start of a sustained campaign against supply networks, or a limited phase of the conflict? And more importantly, what could the next disruption mean not just for the region, but for the world watching so closely? In summary, The two strikes in August 2025 have been described by international observers as a significant blow to Russia's supply chains. The attack on the vessel near Port Olya and the strike on the oil pipeline to Europe were not just isolated incidents, they sent a powerful signal. Ukraine demonstrated that it has both the capability and the intent to disrupt key logistics and energy flows even beyond the immediate front lines. But here lies the larger question: can these operations actually change the long-term outcome of the war? History shows us that while tactical victories can weaken an opponent temporarily, wars are rarely decided by single strikes. Supply disruptions may force Russia to find new routes, adapt its strategy, and strengthen defenses. On the other hand, Ukraine has shown the world that it can strike deep, undermining the sense of security in critical infrastructure. This tug of war creates both opportunities and risks, keeping the conflict tense and unpredictable. Experts highlight that such moves, while tactically clever, may also carry broader consequences. Prolonged disruptions can stretch the war, increase humanitarian costs, and raise the risk of global instability, particularly in energy markets already under pressure. For Europe, this means heightened concern over security of energy supply. For the international community, it means watching closely how both sides respond to these escalations. Ultimately, time will decide whether these incidents were turning points or just temporary setbacks. What we know for certain is that supply chains, both military and energy, will remain a critical battlefield of their own. Now, the question goes to you. Do you think Ukraine's strategy will prove successful in the long run, or will Russia adapt and retaliate? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective matters in this ongoing global conversation. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Every engagement helps us bring you deeper analysis of the world's most pressing issues.